Money Mitch was a rising rapper from South Florida who was recently killed after a shootout with police. Now, the cops are saying that the rapper ran away, then took his own life, but fans aren't so sure about that. Let's take a closer look at what happened. Money Mitch was a 23-year-old rapper from Rivera Beach, Florida, known for tracks like R.I.P. Cool and Charged Up, featuring Spot 'em Got 'em. Even though Mitch wasn't that big of an artist yet, he already had tons of relationships with high-profile rappers from DaBaby to 42 Dugg. Mitch grew up on 35th Street in Rivera Beach and got sucked into the streets from a young age. His arrest record shows that he caught his first felony charge at just 18 for marijuana possession. Later that same year, police raided his house and found a Glock 17, bagged up weed, and a scale. For that, he got hit with a bunch of different charges, including intent to sell within 1,000 feet of a place of worship because his house was close to a church. The year after that, the cops tried to pull over a vehicle he was driving for a tinted window violation, and he refused to stop. He was still fighting the other case and didn't want to get in more trouble, so he ended up leading him on a 15-mile high-speed chase. While in the pursuit, the police learned that Mitch and his passenger were thought to be connected to the death of 15-year-old Michaela Denard. Mitch ended up speeding at over 120 miles per hour and hit 2 other vehicles in the chase. Once they were finally caught, police learned they were not involved in the homicide, but Mitch was still charged with aggravated fleeing, resisting an officer, and moving violations. The year after that, in June 2018, Mitch was shot on the 1200 block of West 35th Street along with 3 other people. A 19-year-old named Timothy Fredericks was killed, and 6 people were later taken into custody. Money Mitch had been building a buzz for his music and was well respected by his peers. After his death, DaBaby went on social media to mourn his friend, posting a story to his Instagram with the caption, "Bruh, I'm sorry I couldn't save you," and "Damn Mitch, you was on me every day." How Money Mitch knew the hottest rapper in the game is unclear. Even though he had a buzz in South Florida, he didn't have a huge following yet, but clearly had some major connections. DaBaby's post is what attracted attention of the mainstream and had fans questioning how the rapper was really killed. The cops have been watching Mitch because he was allegedly a suspect in a murder investigation. On July 23, 2021, they were trailing a red vehicle in Lake Park, which turned out to be an Uber with Mitch inside it. They tried to pull him over because they also had probable cause to arrest him for drug possession. The car did pull over, but Mitch hopped out of the vehicle and started letting off shots, then ran away. So the police started firing back and chased after him. He ended up ducking into an apartment complex and going up to a unit on the 3rd floor. As police entered the building, they noticed blood on the 1st floor and assumed that he had been shot. When they got upstairs, they found Mitch dead with a Glock in between his legs. At first, it was assumed that Mitch had been killed by police. But just recently, the Palm Beach County Sheriffs gave a press conference where they claimed that Mitch had actually died from suicide.
When we got up there, he had committed suicide.
They said that when they returned fire, they had not hit him and the gunshot was self-inflicted. They released a photo of the Glock semi-automatic with an extended clip that he used to fire at them and take his own life. Fans were skeptical of this claim because police had said that they noticed blood when they were entering the building. Even if he did shoot himself upstairs, they must have already injured him for there to be blood on the 1st floor.
We followed him up to a building, and on the 2nd floor, we noticed some blood droppings on the 1st floor.
It doesn't prove that they killed him, but it does prove that some of the official facts don't add up. If that wasn't bad enough, Mitch's blood brother, Trial, had also been shot and killed just a week before. Only 4 days before Mitch died, Trial was found by police in a parked car, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The police were called to the 1600 block of Avenue South after getting a report of gunshots in the area. When they discovered Trial, they brought him to the hospital, but he later died from his injuries. 2 days after that, there was a double shooting not far from where Trial and Money Mitch lived. This was a homicide that led police to start tracking Mitch, and they believe that it was payback for his brother's death. The identity of the other victim hasn't been revealed, but police have stated that they believe it's connected to Trial's murder. The whole story seems pretty wild. The fact that Mitch was in an Uber when the cops pulled him over and he just hopped out shooting sounds like something out of a movie. But maybe if he felt cornered, then he thought he had no choice because they were going to get him for murder and drug charges. It's tough to know what really happened. Maybe Mitch felt like he had nowhere else to turn and took his own life. Or maybe the police actually shot him and don't want to face the consequences. But if he did fire at them first and he happened to get hit after they fired back, why would they cover it up? Unless the version of events they're telling the media is all untrue. They did say that they didn't hit him when they fired back, but there was blood on the 1st floor. But if he had shot himself downstairs, how did he make it to the second floor? Unless the gun went off accidentally and he crawled upstairs to avoid the police. The whole story doesn't add up, and it makes sense why fans are confused about what really happened. But it seems like the world may never know what truly happened to Money Mitch, because for now, the police have ruled it as a suicide. Money Mitch's family has disputed what the sheriff's office has said and claimed that he was murdered by the police. They say that the shooting would have looked bad for their department, so they made it look like a suicide to avoid the negative publicity. The family did admit that he may have been involved in the shootout, but he was not the one who took his own life. It's tragic that Money Mitch never got to realize his true potential. Even though he only had around 15,000 followers around the time of his death, he was already being mentored by one of the biggest rappers in the game. Plus, he had racked up over 200,000 views on the track Charged Up, which featured a guest appearance from another popular Florida rapper, Spot 'em Got 'em. He had a good flow and seemed to know how to network, so there's no telling how far he could have made it in the industry if he was able to keep grinding. But unfortunately, he's another talented rapper gone too soon. He didn't even have the chance to truly mourn his brother's death before he would lose his own life. If it's true that he was on a run from the cops because he killed the dudes that murked his brother, it's tragic. But it's also hard to blame him. Just a few years before losing his brother, his father would also die from gun violence, and he was probably in a pretty bad state already after losing someone so close to him. At least Money Mitch made an impact on the city and the people he was around. The world may never know what actually happened to the rapper, but at least his memory will live on through his music.